Calgary-West.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The disaster in Fort McMurray involves many moving parts, and a critical one relates to public safety and security. The police and other first responders performed a superb evacuation under some of the most challenging circumstances in the history of our nation. However, the tens of thousands of Fort McMurray residents, now hundreds of kilometers away from their homes, are naturally apprehensive about the security of their property, especially when they hear rumors of looting. To the Solicitor General, has there been any looting in Fort McMurray, and what measures are being taken to ensure it will not occur? Thank you.
Deputy Premier.
The first thing I want to say is how important it is that people do honour the mandatory evacuation notice, and that the first responders on the ground can focus on the duties that they need to do the most. Obviously, they don't want to have to turn people away, so if you stay where you're safe, the first responders on the ground can focus on keeping your belongings safe. Certainly, we'll continue to move forward, and I'm sure the Solicitor General will address other details around rumours around that situation. But please honour the mandatory evacuation order.
Supplemental.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Given that the city is deemed secure right now due to the limited number of people gaining access to it because of the hazardous situation, and given that as the evacuation is lifted and thousands of residents flow home, others including voyeurs and criminals of opportunity may travel to Fort McMurray, so again to the Solicitor General, how will police provide for a quick and orderly return for anxious Fort McMurray residents while also ensuring criminals of opportunity do not have free rein to roam in a partially empty city? Thank you.
Minister of Justice and Solicitor General.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and to the member for the critical question. Well, we know the residents of Fort McMurray are under an enormous amount of stress right now, and they're worried about their homes and what's going to be there when they go back. Currently, it's the case that the entire city is under a mandatory evacuation, and we have to ask that people respect that. The RCMP are doing some fantastic work in ensuring that they keep that city safe and that they're keeping things patrolled and looking for pets and ensuring that people aren't in there when they shouldn't be. As time moves forward, they will be working on an orderly return plan. But I think the most important thing is to ask people to make sure that they're not going back prior to when they're asked.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. Second supplemental.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Given that the RCMP have informed us that some residents did not leave the city, and this kind of behaviour can pose unnecessary risks to first responders, and given that it also is understandably why some residents may choose not to flee their homes in a public emergency, especially if they do not truly understand the severity of the danger. And given that a crisis provides an opportunity to learn, again to the same minister, what are your plans for reviewing the evacuation to potentially improve response in future crises?
Minister of Justice.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and to the member for the important question. Well, of course, the RCMP and all of us here at the province are always in the process of ensuring that that we review an incident. We're not really at that stage yet. We're still at the stage where the fire is actively burning, but we certainly have learned a lot of lessons from things that have occurred in the past. I want to assure people that the RCMP continue to be within the city, and they continue to patrol the city to keep everything safe. And we again would like to ask people to ensure that even though we know they're stressed and even though we know they want to go home, that they wait until the first responders are telling them that it's safe to go back.